Hi, welcome to the second episode of Teo the Peopleist. This is a hybrid game and talk show where I'm going to mess around with some games and tell you some real stories about North Korea as well as human rights and development. Now, before I get into that, I realized last time I was playing a technical deck and ladder and I was not doing that great. So I'll be honest, it's fun to talk while playing MTG, but technical decks need some real focus. So, you just do better when you're focusing anyway, but I have a few decks that are just basically autopilot. That is not one. So I think I'm going to put Danny T. Law's excellent decks aside because he's a real play-to-win genius, and I'm going to mess around with some fun decks. Hopefully get something cool to go off. Swayzie, Goldfish are two of my favorite channels. They always recommend these decks that have these hilarious combos. Not always winners, but they're always fun to watch, so I'll just be going down that route. So today's one of Swayze's. We got Gruul aggro. It's red-green. It's one of his fun decks. He built it around an insane combo that's actually hard to pull off properly, but there's some really effective smaller combos built in. So first you got green with the Badger Mole Cub to get some fast ramp, pull off a lot of red spells more quickly. Then everything red is built around dealing damage, right? So you have Razorkin over here. Every time someone draws a card, he deals 1 damage. You got Shocking Sharpshooter. Every time one of your creatures injures, your opponent's going to take some damage. Scalding Viper, every time an opponent casts a low-cost spell, it deals damage. Sabotender, every time you drop a land, that's going to deal 1 damage. All right, so these are all like really simple 1 damage shocks. Now these stack up really nicely together with this big guy here. I'm not sure exactly how it's pronounced, if it's Oyer, Oger, or O'Hare. The Chicago airport, but I heard Swayze call it O'Hare, so I'm just going to call it O'Hare. I don't know, it sounds kind of like Irish or something. I like that. So O'Hare, basically, whatever his power is, it substitutes his power for the direct damage of a red spell. So, long story short, your Razorkin is supposed to deal 1 damage when an opponent draws a card. If you have O'Hare on the field, it will do 4 damage instead. And then if O'Hare gets stronger, then that direct damage is also going to go up, which is why we have Innkeeper's Talent, which just puts a lot of 1/1 counters on the board. So if you have Innkeeper's Talent on the board, every turn O'Hare is going to get 1 more strength, 1 more power, and then all of your direct damage guys are going to do 1 more damage each time. I also have Fated Firepower, which is it's really kind of hard to pull off because it starts with a base 3 reds. So you have to have 3 reds before you even get this thing out, and then you need to pay X. So for every amount of X you put on it, it gets a counter. For every counter it gets on it, you add that much damage to any source of damage you deal. So you can put that on top of O'Hare. You can put that into your combat stage, whatever. There's just a lot of ways to deal extra damage with this on the field. Now, the problem is that you have to pay a lot to get a lot of counters on it, which is what Badger Mole and Llanowar and Gene Pollinator are supposed to help with. But you have this cool little thing here with Innkeeper's Talent. If you put Innkeeper's Talent at level 3, it automatically doubles the counters. So if you have a level 3 Innkeeper's Talent, you drop the Fated Firepower with, I don't know, let's say X equals 3, then at that point you're going to get 6 counters instead of 3 counters. And you can play more Fated Firepowers. And also there's one nice little bonus here with O'Hare. So every time it dies, it basically turns into an extra mountain for you. And then, of course, you have more O'Hares in the deck. You can just pull them out later. So this can, it can be useful even after it dies. So, yeah. I'm going to be real. I probably won't win very much with this deck, but it is a fun deck. So I'm just going to let it rip. And probably I'm going to jump off the ladder for now and just do some casual play sessions. So let's check it out. All right, so let's hop into it with the Gruul aggro standard play. All right, so I want to pick up a bit after the last episode because I explained about why North Koreans escaped to China and why they're not supposed to be in China, but I want to build on that some more. There are tons of North Koreans living outside of North Korea, and of course South Korea is a key destination for them, but I want to get into more about North Koreans living in what we call third countries, which is every country outside the 2 Koreas. So there's a lot to say about escapees, which are people who didn't enter through the proper channels and are basically unregistered residents. But first I'm going to talk about North Koreans in the open in these third countries. Right. Yeah, that'll do. Okay. All right, so which countries have the most North Koreans? Number one, no question, China. Then you have 3 different groups. So one is the US, Canada, UK. This is a small group, basically just places that are willing to host North Korean refugees. So if you've ever seen like Park Young-mi, the famous speaker who is on Joe Rogan, she spends most of her time in the US these days, and so does Shin Dong-hyuk, I think. He's the guy who claims to have escaped some political prisons in North Korea. When I read his biography, he said he was California-based, so nope, I'll take that. If you want to get to one of these countries, US, UK, whatever, then you have to first successfully land into South Korea. And that's a whole adventure I'll get into. So that, yeah, of course he did. Of course he did. Let's jump into the fun. Should we jump into the fun stuff? I'll take it a little bit slow first. Okay, let's get this guy going. All right. Okay, so this brings me to the second group, the escape countries. So that's basically Vietnam, Laos, Thailand, Mongolia. I'm not sure if there are any other countries in this group, but you might be able to guess what they have in common. They border China. So if you're trying to get out of China, you might have to go to one of these countries first. That's the thing I hate about this deck, man. If you don't get to go first, you just get this huge disadvantage. They really just screw with you, huh? That's cool. I'll just... Do I want to go with the needlehead first? Yeah, I'm going to go with the needlehead first. Yeah. That's cool. Okay. So, yeah, if you're trying to get out of China, you have to go to one of these. You have to go to Vietnam, Laos, Mongolia. Now, you might be asking, if you want to go to South Korea from China, why not just go directly from, just go directly from China? There's a lot to talk about when it comes to Chinese security surveillance. I do want to get into that another time, but I'll get to the relevant point here. So, according to Mike Kim, this guy runs a Christian advocacy group called Crossing Borders. According to him, basically, Mike says that escaped North Koreans, Crossing Borders, Mike Kim, he helped North Koreans escape. So Mike says that escaped North Koreans can show up to a South Korean embassy or some other friendly embassy in China. It could be like British embassy or something like that. They can give their story, and then the South Korean government will book them a flight. They'll give them a temporary passport or something like that, and then they'll get them safely out of China, no problem. But the hard part is getting into one of these embassies, right? Am I gonna piss him off? Not yet. I think I'm gonna do this guy first. I think this will be more fun. Get a little passive in. Yeah, and that'll activate the sharpshooter too. So that gets me 4 straight to the dome. So you gonna do something to remove it, or is he just gonna suck it up? Let's see. All right. So yeah, the South Korean government will help them out once they get to an embassy, right? But the hard part is to get to an embassy. The Chinese government posts guards around the embassies, and if you want to get in, you have to sneak in. And that's once you're in Beijing anyway. So you can look at a map. Northeast border on North Korea is a bit of a ways from Beijing, and you have to get down there, which is really, that's not so easy these days. Man, this is China. So getting to another border is also not necessarily easy. But China has some pretty long borders. Of course he did. Of course he did. Still going to do some passive though. China has some pretty long borders, and I guess if there's no geese around, you can sneak across if you go at just the right time. And there's not a whole lot of exit security, because usually the Chinese government is really not that concerned with people sneaking out like North Korea is. Like, Chinese people can usually just take a plane or take a bus if they want to go somewhere. It's not like it's totally locked down for everyone all the time. North Korea is. You're not just supposed to leave, right? This guy's slowing down a bit. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop down 1 Sabotender. And then I'm gonna drop the innkeeper's talent. And then shock myself. Deal another bit of damage, and then now whoever has a counter also has ward. I know he wants to go for my needlehead first, so let me make him safe. At this point, the Sabotender is almost useless, so I think I'm not going to sack him right away, but I'm willing to sack him in the future. Okay. All right, so to bring it back around, people are crossing over to Southeast Asia. That, what used to be called Indochina or whatever, that region. Yeah, no block to that, I'll just take it. They're crawling through the Mekong, dodging crocodiles or something, or they're just like straight up crossing into the Gobi Desert. Real stuff. Real stuff. I wouldn't say there's a lot of North Koreans sitting in these transition countries. I couldn't give you a real number. But basically, once they get there, they either they get arrested right off the bat, or they just hurry to the embassy. And if they get arrested, things can get kind of weird. These countries have really changing relations with China. Like sometimes they're really tight, sometimes they actually hate China. You can look up the China-Vietnam War of 1979. A lot of these countries, they have relations with North Korea too, because they're all former China-Soviet Axis buddies. But then they also have relations with South Korea too. So, it's kind of weird. Vietnam is kind of in the corner you're all my friends. North Korea, you're my friend. South Korea, you're my friend. Even though all these three countries, they all pretty much hate each other. So we never know exactly how the government of one of these countries is going to act, or how the border guards and police are going to react to seeing North Koreans coming across. But if I had to make a suggestion, bring some cash, Long story short, most of the North Koreans in these countries are in prisons, and the rest are basically out the second they get in, one way or another. That's, it's hard to say what is the exact number, because again, it's an in and out situation. So then I'll bring it around to the third group, which is a different story. Yeah. So we can pull the counter thing too. Okay. Oh, okay. How much do I have now? 1, 2, 3, 7, right? Okay. So I can drop this down with 4. Is that right? That should be right if my math is correct. I got my timing a little off, but it should be a pretty good time to throw these dudes out. And then, do I go full swinging in? I'll go full swinging in. I just got to survive for one more turn and then I'm good. It'd be nice if my lands weren't locked down, but in the meantime I can hold these guys. Maybe I should just save for the Sabotender. I might have just lost the game for myself. Okay, let's hold on a minute, because I'm going to get 9 on his first draw. And then what happens next? Then he's gonna kill me, so I lose. Yeah, okay. Unless he draws something else for whatever reason. Yeah, he goes full swing in. Okay. I thought that was gonna happen. Alright, good game, buddy. Alright, so now I'll bring it around to the third group of North Koreans, which is a different story. So up until now I've been discussing North Korean refugees, which is how I think, at least, we should refer to people who had to escape and can't go back to North Korea without getting arrested, tortured, executed, It sounds like a refugee to me, but North Korean government will argue that. You might argue that. It's up to you. I'm going to call them refugees. The third group of countries in the three. The third group of countries is countries that have relations with North Korea. And North Koreans can be in those countries for official or semi-official reasons. Like, Kim Jong-un studied in Switzerland when he was a kid. So you do have North Koreans from privileged positions in Europe. I heard this story from this guy, young guy. He studied in France, I think, before he escaped. And there's more North Koreans than you think studying abroad, especially in China and Russia, but in a lot of other places too. So one of these days I'll tell you about education exchanges. I mean, if I get rid of a card, is this really going to be worth it? So, yeah, one of these days I'll tell you about the education exchanges, because I read some really great stories about Chinese people studying in Pyongyang too. I mean, there are a lot funny stories than you can imagine. So anyway, North Korea has diplomatic relations with, what is it, 160 states, and this includes like close allies across the global south. Think Latin America, Middle East, Africa, but it also has relations with developed states that basically want to be neutral. So it's not all that common to see North Koreans who are aligned with the state, like on an official state visit somewhere in Europe. And don't ask for the exact numbers on these people. The diplomatic data is high-level clearance. I used to work the other way around too, before COVID. You can read this book. It's called North Korea on the Inside, Looking In. There's this Irish engineer, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Walter Ruffnin, and he was in there helping to set up sewers, roads, stuff like that on an aid project. So you can read and see what it's like for a neutral European to look into North Korea. And I'll just spoil it for you. It's a lot of red tape, a lot of don't open that door kind of stuff. But it's still worth the read if you're into it, if you want to know what it looks like. They're all gone now, all the aid workers and everything. The Europeans, they got kicked out in 2020 and they haven't been let back in since then. What is this guy doing? Just trying to run the clock out. I know that if I drop the badger mole, he's gonna get rid of it immediately. So I think I'm just gonna get one of these guys down first. Did he just go out for a smoke or something? So, by the way, that's official. North Koreans on visit with diplomatic permission, I mentioned. So we didn't talk about the hush-hush, like Poland, Russia, China. There's some other countries. There's a bunch of them, actually. But what I want you to know is that these countries take in tens of thousands of irregular workers. Now, what do I mean by irregular workers? So I'm not just talking about people who are like unregistered aliens who cross the border without permission. I'm talking about how countries are violating international law and keeping things on the DL to bring in North Koreans. So in 2017, the UN passed a resolution which basically says no one can hire North Koreans. If you're a member of the UN, which everyone is, then you have to send every North Korean worker home by 2019. So by 2019, most European countries said, fine, okay, and they complied. Not Russia, not China. I swear every day we get another new report telling us there's like 5 billion more illegal laborers. So here's what we heard from NK News and NKDB. Anton Sokolin is your guy. So he knows everything about North Korea, Russia. They've been saying Russia signs up North Korean workers as like students, right? So, hey, this guy, Park, he goes to St. Petersburg U or something. They got all kinds of fake or questionable documents saying that, yeah, this guy goes to this school, whatever. Do these dudes go to the school? No, they're being transported out to BF Siberia to build houses. $10 a month, toilets don't flush, sleeping in steel warehouses, just a really terrible way to live. Don't sign me up for that. At least 5 North Koreans, 5, 10, I think it's about 5, at least 5, just ran off while they were in Russia, and they're in South Korea now. I mean, wouldn't you, right? So they told us a lot of these stories about how life was back then, and like I attended a conference about it. There's a speaker. He was telling us all what happened. 16-hour days. Someone lost a finger or a hand or something, and they just wrapped him up and said, get back to work. I mean, it's up to you whether or not you want to believe it, because we don't have photos of these work sites, but that's the situation as much as we can possibly imagine it right now. the way people are telling it to us, people who have nothing else to lose, nothing else to say. So, I mean, that's half the situation in Russia, right? The other half is soldiers. You got laborers, you got troops. So a couple weeks ago, North Korean news showed Kim welcoming troops back. He's gonna time out, huh? He's timed out. So a couple weeks ago, North Korean news was showing Kim Jong-un welcoming troops back. Did I have fun in the match? I guess. These dudes, these troops that were coming back from Russia, they had to clear minefields. You ever tried to clear a mine? It's absolute madness. They're missing body parts, arms, legs, whatever. And Kim is all, oh, what a great sacrifice. But I mean, come on. Who sent them out there to get their legs blown off? So you don't have to believe the labor scheme. You can't see it with your own eyes. But, man, if even North Korea is openly admitting that they're just sending troops to Ukraine, then I think you just have to say, like, yeah, that's going on. No, they don't want to be there. Do you want to be in Ukraine clearing minefields? Come on. All right, give me a second. I'll tell you about China in just a moment here. Yeah, this is a good enough start. I got a bunch of cheap guys, so that's going to be a healthy curve. And this guy can stay tapped because I don't need it at the moment. All right, so next we got workers in China. And this is a big one because there are all kinds of different schemes and arrangements. There might be, I want to say 100,000 of them right now. All right. So what are they doing? Yeah, is it over? Okay, I think it was 80,000 a few years ago. And now they're bringing the number up. Yeah, it's probably over 100,000. So I guess China doesn't really care about the UN thing, right? So what are these workers doing in China? Really basic stuff, if I'm going to be honest with you. They are doing, well, they're doing factory work, farm work, seafood, just, imagine your basic like migrant worker stuff, right? Just think about like what are Mexicans doing in the US or something like that, similar situation. So if you get seafood from Dalian, there's a decent chance it was processed by North Koreans. There was this whole thing in 2024 about seafood you can eat in South Korea being made with North Korean labor. But it's 2026 now, and when I check online, they're still selling tons of cheap Chinese origin seafood in South Korea. So I guess it's just not that outrageous, is it? So yeah, there's that. What can is there a way I can, yeah, I think I know what to do here. So I tap this guy, I tap this guy, get this guy down, build this guy up, pop the Sabotender, and drop this guy here, pay to life, so that I can boost this guy up. All right, now we are in business. And this one has first strike, so I'll just toss it right out there. Clothing too. There were riots in 2024. North Koreans worked at clothing factories, and then their bosses were just like, haha, no pay for you. And that got them really pissed off. I'm genuinely worried that Chinese bosses just think that they can do whatever they want with North Korean workers, just treat them worse than everyone else on the field. That's what they were saying in Russia, that Central Asian workers, like, I don't know, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, something like that, they were sweet and sweet. That will go tapped. Oh no, I lost my Sabotender. Okay, that's fine. All right, so they were saying that people from like Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, whatever, they were getting like $100 a month. And the North Koreans were getting 10. So you can just imagine that, right? So you just froze half to death, and your coworker is getting 10 times as much as you. longer breaks, and then they get to go into the city and do stuff without a handler watching them the whole time. So to me, the surprising part is not that some of these guys in Russia and China are running off. It's how few of them are running off. And if you're wondering why it's so low, I'll get to that in just a minute, but I wanted to show you guys why they're getting like really pissed, right? So the guys in Jilin, it's like 15 factories in Jilin, a couple thousand of riders, 2,000, 2,500, we don't know the exact number. They're working bad, and Jilin is way north, so it's way cold too. So I'm not gonna put down money that they have them in like cozy, well-heated apartments or something. Yeah, they had it pretty bad, right? What's your thing? Oh, you're trying to get rid of it. Okay, yeah, no, sorry. Sweet. That's cool. Okay. So yeah, they had it bad, man. I cannot blame them for rioting, if they rioted. We don't 100% know. The news story says they rioted. You can check my citation list later and read the news story. Let me wrap it up a bit to explain what's going on with the pay, all right? So I was telling you, right? North Koreans are getting dimes on the dollar. We're talking like 10 or 20% of what the actual company pays for each worker. So why is a Central Asian getting 100 and North Korea is getting 10? We got to talk about what's happening with the rest of the money and why the North Koreans just deal with it. So in short, the money goes to North Korea. And I mean, not to the North Korean workers, it's going to their managers back in North Korea, and then it's going to the North Korean state. So your boss in China or Russia decides what you're supposed to get paid as a worker. And then Pyongyang gets the rest. Right? So let's get an elf out here. Right. So some of that, to be fair, some of what Pyongyang is taking gets turned into state-funded development for the people. So if you turn on the news, you're probably going to see them. They're talking about opening another farm or building another house. That's on like KCNA official news. And that's not all talk. They're definitely building state projects. They're trying to give people food and housing. At the same time, they're also arming their military, and they're grabbing some sweet drip for the kids, right? Don't believe me? Check their state visits to Russia and China. Look at the pictures. Sweet bags, nice watches, great cars. How many North Koreans get to drive a Maybach? At least one, less than 20 million. Right? And they're still signing up. The North Korean workers are still signing up for these really exploitive sounding programs. So there was a program I was reading about training young women to send them across the border to China, and they got to meet all these criteria. So they got this, they got a checklist, all right? And I'll spoil it for you. Here's what they're looking for. Is this person going to be a traitor? What does that mean? I'll tell you in a second. Yeah. And yeah. Let's get some ward. Let's get a gene on the field. And let's get a little bit more damage. Why not? Yeah, why not? But that one can come into town. Alright. Neohead's got first strike, so throw him in for a swing. Gonna take that, then take another one next turn, or you got something. What you got? Yeah, take that straight to the head. Okay. All right, so they're looking for, is this person going to be a traitor? And when I say traitor, yeah, of course, I mean, are they going to run their mouth about state secrets and human rights violations? Are they going to be telling foreigners what the real North Korea looks like? Yeah, all that. But that's not the whole thing. All right, bear with me here. Remember how I said there's only like a handful of runaways, like only 5 or 10 people running away from Russia out of some thousands of workers, right? Hostages. That's the trick. That's the secret there. I'm just gonna keep pumping these dudes up. Yeah. Yeah, get my buddy Sabo. You take a break here. And take a little direct. Oh, should I have saved that? Maybe I should have saved that. I should have saved that. That could have been a lot of damage later. I'm dumb. That's okay. Still get some direct later. Alright, so hostages. That's a trick. I'll talk about collective punishment in some more detail some other time. But the simple bit is when you leave North Korea as a worker, the state makes sure they make sure you know that they know where your family is. Alright? So you want to run away, better make sure someone tells the state that you died somewhere. Line some pockets, grease some palms. So that checklist before they send you across the border, number 1, how many family members do they have and where? Oh, sweet. What do I got here? 1, 2, 3, 7. Crank that up. Yeah, all in. Gina's gonna tap this guy here. That comes in with 8, and bam, straight to the dome. And that's pretty much it, I think. What's left? Just let him go, and then he draws a card, and that's it, right? Bam. All right. Shoot, I pulled off the firepower. What are the odds of that? Oof. All right, yeah. So let me work back around, all right? This all sounds like a terrible deal. The tough work life, the terrible pay, the red tape. Why would anyone want to do it? I wouldn't want to do it, but it's no joke. They got some real reasons. So let's think about it. Okay. Yeah, there's a chance to run off. That would be cool, but that's probably not the most of it. All right, $10 a month. Not a lot, but do the math. Okay. You get your basic housing and food. If you're lucky. I've heard some guys have to like dig in trash cans to find food. Let's just say you got housing and food. And then you take home 10 a month. You do a 2-year assignment. You go home. That's over $200, maybe $300, all right? And now I heard this from Andrei Lonkov. He's this Russian expert who used to live in North Korea. He went to like Kim Il-sung University. I'm not very smart. He went to Kim Il-sung University, and yeah. Okay, so Andrei Lonkov, he went to Kim Il-sung University. He gives lectures in English in South Korea. Check him out. He has some really good analysis of North Korea that acknowledges that there's a human rights problem, but is there going to be a way for me to get rid of that? Not yet. Because I can do the Scalding Viper later, but not at this second. Right. So pay 2 life here. Let's get the Sharpshooter in first. And let's get the... I'm not going to shock me, so I'll get the Tender in now. Okay, let's see. So, I went to one of his lectures. It was really, it was a kind of analysis that you're not going to hear anywhere else. Because if you get a message directly from Russia, they're going to be 100% pro-North Korea. If you get a lecture from a human rights expert, they're going to be kind of critical that it's not quite what we're looking for. Oh, bro, there's no way I can win that. That's it. So he was telling us money is good money. Like that $200, $300, that's good money in North Korea. And I don't mean you get home and you buy a car or have food for a few months or years guaranteed. I mean, this is seed money. You go home, you buy a market stall, maybe even a legitimate one in Pyongyang. There's this Indonesian dude on YouTube. He took all these secret videos of life around Pyongyang, and you can just see ladies slinging rice rolls and pancakes on the street. It's just really clean, really legit looking markets. So that's a real gig. It's income for the rest of your life. It's safe and solid, and your family is good. And there's a reason why so many Chinese people used to migrate to the US and open restaurants. And that's because getting to the right place with a simple and solid family business will ensure your family is going to be in the right place for a long time. And people are paying real blood and real sweat for that family investment to stay completely in the white with North Korean law the whole time, even if they're in the gray with international law. They don't care about UN resolutions, dude. They just want to feed their families. Although if those UN resolutions actually worked, that would be the best. But, I'm not going to tell you what I personally think about UN resolutions, but I will tell you what Longkov said about about the 2017 one that was kicking the North Koreans out of Europe. Some of those North Koreans, he said, they were working in air-conditioned factories and even offices in countries like Poland, which have a reasonable, if not perfect, standard of human development. So, I mean, you tell me, would you rather live in Poland or would you rather live in North Korea? You take your pick. Man, I keep doing that. I keep picking the wrong something that gets tapped. Are these both? Yeah, I just screwed that one up. Okay. No problem, swinging for one. Okay. All right, so yeah, just if you had to pick between Poland and North Korea, which country are you going to work in? So these UN resolutions are saying, get the North Koreans out of Europe, right? You want to get them out of these European offices and factories and send them where? To the factories and fields of rural North Korea? Think about that. So, yeah, it's not so clean, not so cut and dry, is it? That's the situation, man. I need more mountains, but I can't use it if I make it now. I mean, I'm really easy to read right now because I'm doing all these safe plays, conservative plays, not doing any feints or anything. Oh man, now that we got through all that though, we need to talk about the irregulars in China. Like the irregulars in China, like the ones who escaped to China without permission from either country's government. And man, there is so much to talk about. Just take that forward to the face. Nice. I killed my Razorhead too, right? Nice. All right, let's get this guy out here. And now these guys cannot be played. So I am just gonna swing out with these guys, and I'm just gonna toss away one of these elves later because they're really not using it. They're not getting that much. Maybe they could do something with the firepower. I don't know. I'm gonna hold on for now. I might need it later. Let's see. Although if I had an O'Hare right about now, that'd be kind of cool. I'll save that. Okay, so we got... It doesn't matter. We already know what's going to happen at the start of next turn. So we got 1, 2, 3. 3 up here, 4 down here. Let's... I should leave 1 open just to be safe. So I'm going to do 3 for now. Yeah. And I could throw away Gene. That's not the most important thing right now. Okay. All right. So, yeah, man. North Koreans who escaped to China without permission. There's so much to talk about, who they are, what they do. I feel bad that I haven't covered it yet, but I think I'm already way through a whole episode, and that one can easily cover an episode by itself. So I'll save it for later. I'll give you a sneak peek though. to be fair. So remember, I said 75% or so of escaped North Koreans are women. And remember that I said you need to have some money or some connections or both to get out of North Korea. So I'll let you take a minute, think about that. And imagine what a lot of people would do, what a lot of women would do to get across the river. So, yeah, that's, that'll do it for today, I think. Let me finish up this match and then I'll give a quick review. So yeah, in summary, man, that's North Korea. North Korea, China, Russia. Even if you get out, no, I picked the wrong one, didn't I? I mean, even if you get out, it's not necessarily safe, is it? Oh, wow. Oh, wait, I might actually win this one. All right, I'll just keep you on the ropes just for a second, because there's a chance I might win this one here. I think that guy screwed himself by drawing one card. So I just need, if I survive this guy, is that going to be it? Is that enough? He doesn't have trample. He pulls a card and he's dead, right? I think I need a little bit more. Sacrifice a non-land permanent. Yes. I will get rid of my elf. I don't need him at the moment. Oh, that was really close. Oh, that is so close. And now there's no way to get through, right? So he has 5 dudes. I can just hope that he screws up. I think that's all I can do at the moment, is just hope that he totally misses what just happened. Lets this guy through. Yeah, that's gonna be it, unless... And there's no other drawing here, huh? I think that Sephiroth really... I think that saved him, yeah. Unless... No! 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 All right, that'll be it for today. I hope you enjoyed this little talk, and I'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.